The vigil. The hallway outside the operating room was too white, too silent. The kind of silence that made every second feel dangerous. Vivi sat with her fists clenched on her knees, staring at the double doors Adrian had been taken through. Her clothes were damp with sweat and dried blood. Her mascara had long since washed away. Margot sat beside her again, this time not speaking, just holding space. "Why did he save me?" Vivi whispered. "After everything, why?" "Because he loves you," Margot said. "That's what love does. It makes you choose someone else's life over your own, even when it hurts, even when it terrifies you." Dorian returned from the nurse's desk, holding a clipboard. "They need someone to authorize surgery if things turn complicated. You were the only Adrian's contact." Vivi took the clipboard with trembling hands. "Do it," Margot said gently. "Sign it. You're the one he trusted." She signed. The doors didn't open. Not yet. But somewhere beyond them, Adrian Dallaire was fighting for his life. And this time he wasn't fighting alone. It was well past midnight. The hospital lights buzzed softly overhead, sterile and unbothered, as if unaware that lives were hanging by a thread just beyond the double doors. Vivian sat with Adrian's blood still under her fingernails. She'd scrubbed her hands 3 times in the bathroom, but somehow it still clung, stubborn, like the guilt blooming in her chest. Margot had her arm around her now, holding her daughter like she used to when Vivi was small and feverish. No words, just quiet, enduring presence. June paced like a storm on a loop, back and forth across the linoleum floor. Luke sat slouched, eyes glazed, hands clasped in silent prayer, though he wasn't religious. Clara leaned against the wall, arms folded, watching everything with a silent strategist's gaze. But even she looked shaken, like this wasn't just another case. Dorian stood by the window, arms behind his back, facing the night. He hadn't spoken in a while. The guilt weighed heavy on him too. June stopped pacing. "How long has it been?" 3 hours, Luke muttered. "It feels like 3 days. Margot looked up. They said the bullet didn't hit any vital organs, but the blood loss was serious. He was already weakened when he took the shot. Why did he even go to her? Luke asked softly. Because he knew, Clara replied. He knew what Vescary was capable of. And he knew Vivi was walking straight into it. At that, Vivi whispered, "He tried to protect me from the start." Her voice cracked. "Even when I wouldn't listen. Even when I ran to him." Margot kissed her temple. "You didn't know. You just followed your heart. I didn't deserve his love." "You didn't have to," her mother said gently. "He gave it freely." The doors finally swung open. Everyone stood at once. A doctor stepped out, her face calm but unreadable. She looked around the room and paused when she saw Vivi. "He made it through surgery," she said. "He's stable now. Still unconscious, but he survived." A collective breath was released, shaky and loud. June collapsed into a chair, hands over her mouth. Luke ran a hand over his face. Clara whispered a quiet "thank God." But Vivi? She couldn't move. Just stood frozen, tears pooling in her eyes. The doctor offered a soft smile. "You can see him. One at a time for now." Margot gave her daughter's hand a gentle squeeze. "Go!" Vivi stepped forward on trembling legs and walked through the doors, heart pounding. The room was quiet except for the gentle beeping of the heart monitor. Adrian lay still, surrounded by pale hospital walls and the soft hum of machines keeping time. Vivi sat beside him, her fingers lightly wrapped around his. The doctor had told her to keep talking, that hearing familiar voices could help bring him back. So she did. Vivi sat beside him and took his hand in both of hers. "I thought I lost you," she whispered. There was no reply, but his hand twitched faintly in hers. A slow response. A fight still happening beneath the surface. "You saved me again," she said, a tear slipping down her cheek. "But you're not allowed to leave me. Not now. Not after everything." She smiled faintly, brushing her thumb over his knuckles. "I love you, Adrian. That's the first and easiest thing. I love you. And I'm really hoping you'll wake up soon so I can say it 100 more times and make you roll your eyes at me." And in the stillness, just barely, his fingers curled tighter around hers. He was still fighting, and she would be right there, waiting for him to open his eyes. "I don't even know if you can hear me," she began, her voice soft, a little cracked at the edges. "But I'm going to pretend you can. Because I need you to. Because I still have 1,000 things to tell you." She leaned in, pressing her forehead to his hand. A pause. "And guess what? I found my mother. I thought I would live with this missing puzzle throughout my life." Her voice caught, then steadied. "She's alive. She's complicated. Strong. Kind of terrifying. But she's mine. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm part of something real. Like I'm not lost anymore." Vivi gave a dry little laugh. "And oh, get this, apparently Dorian, yes, our dear Detective Fox, is my mom's half-brother. Which makes him my uncle? Godfather uncle? They kept it from me for years. Thought I'd get obsessed and start digging again, asking too many questions." She leaned in closer, lowering her voice. "Which, let's be honest, I absolutely would have." She blinked quickly, swallowing hard. "But everything's out in the open now. Even the messed up parts. And I'm okay with that. Because I have people I love. And people who love me back. That includes you, by the way." She let her head rest gently beside his arm. "So if you're listening, come back, okay? I want you there for everything that's ahead. You're part of the story now. And I'm not ready to write you out." Once the nurse stepped in to adjust Adrian's fore and asked for a moment alone, the group slowly stepped out, giving him space to rest. In the hallway just beyond the room, Vivi stood by a vending machine, Margot beside her, the harsh overhead lights making their resemblance striking. Mother and daughter. Reunited. Vivi held a coffee she wasn't drinking. Her voice was soft. "I used to dream about this, you know." Margot turned to her. "Meeting you. What I'd say. What you'd look like," Vivi went on. "Some nights I'd even write letters, just in case. I thought, maybe if I became visible enough, loud enough, you'd find me. That if I became someone people watched, you'd see me." Margot's throat tightened. "You put yourself in the spotlight hoping I'd find you?" "I didn't say it out loud to anyone," Vivi said. "But yes. I guess I hoped somewhere in the noise you'd hear me." There was a long pause. Margot swallowed hard, reached for her daughter's hand. "It worked," she said quietly. "But for the wrong reasons." Vivi looked down, her lashes wet. Margot pulled her into a tight embrace. "We have a lot to catch up on, my baby girl." Vivi didn't answer. She just hugged her mother back, harder than she ever imagined she would. Because somehow, even after all the years of silence, the hug felt like home. The soft beep of the heart monitor played like a lullaby. Adrian stirred beneath the pale blanket, his eyes fluttering open as if he were returning from another life. His vision was blurry at first, just shifting shadows and muted light, but then he saw the shape of her. Vivian, sitting beside him, holding his hand like it was the most precious thing in the world. "Vivi," he rasped, voice dry and barely audible. She straightened with a breathless smile, tears forming instantly. Hey, you're okay. You're back." He blinked, his gaze floating past her to the faces gathering around the bed. June's relieved eyes, Luke's wide grin, Clara's subtle nod, and Dorian, arms crossed at the foot of the bed with quiet pride. "Did we win?" Adrian asked faintly. "No," Vivi said, brushing his hair back gently. But you lived, so we didn't lose either. He tried to smile. It hurt, but he smiled anyway. Adrian's hand was in hers again. You should be resting, she whispered, afraid too much noise would break the peace. I'd rather be looking at you, he murmured, still faint but steadier than yesterday. She gave him a fragile smile. You always say that when you think you might die. I always mean it, he said. There was silence. I don't want to live in a world where I keep losing the people I love. He looked at her more closely now. Say that again. She blinked. What? The part where you said you love me. Her voice broke. Adrian. No riddles, no running. Just say it. She looked down at their entwined hands, then back up into his eyes. I love you, she said. I don't know when it happened, or maybe I always did. Maybe I was just too scared to admit it. But I love you, Adrian. I love you in the way that terrifies me, in the way I'd fight the whole world to protect. His eyes were wet now, too. I love you, too, he whispered. From the first day you rolled your eyes at me and said I'd never survive Milan Fashion Week. Imagine that your last would be you loved me first, she said. I don't recall, maybe because I was dying, he said in an embarrassed way. She laughed through the tears and leaned down, pressing a gentle kiss to his forehead.